Hi, Writing 250, and welcome back from spring break, and welcome to week 9 of the course. In some ways, we're entering the final stages of the course. The project that you proposed in the topic proposal is going to be the project that you work on from now until the end of the semester. So in some ways, things might start evening out. In other ways, the projects that we're doing are going to be different from projects that you've done before, and they're going to require some serious consideration on your part. What we're in the throes of right now is the lit review, which requires that you look at how research fits with itself, how it talks to each other, how your articles overlap, and what gaps you see. And we talked about this in all of our individual meetings, and we talked about it. I spent a good amount of time talking about it in your feedback that's available from your topic proposal. And there are a couple of things from the topic proposal that I want to spend some time talking to you about. The first one is the length requirements for these assignments, and the second is the the overuse of I that I'm seeing periodically in these assignments. So first, on your topic proposal, your length requirement was listed as being 3 to 4 pages. And I'm getting the sense that some students either thought that the title page counted as a page or thought that 3 pages was basically 2 pages with a couple of more lines on the third page. Neither one of those things is true. You need 3 pages of text. 3 full pages of text. And in some cases, that's still going to read in kind of an underdeveloped way. So I want to dispel a myth here. We don't give a length requirement just to have an arbitrary amount of writing that you have to do during the course of the semester. Our length requirements are based on what students at your level need to produce in order to fully develop their ideas. And when we say 3 to 4 pages, 3 is the absolute minimum. Absolute minimum. And if you're only writing 2 pages and a couple of more lines, you're not meeting the minimum requirements of the paper. And when that happens in the literature review, that's not going to earn you a passing grade. So in the literature review, look at that page range, and what I tend to tell students is that if you aim for the upper end of that range and fall a little bit short, then you're still safe. But if you're only aiming for that lower end of the range, and you fall short, you're not going to earn a passing grade. So look at the range, aim for the upper end, right? Now, if you write 3 pages and you know that you have some unnecessary language and you have some stuff in there that's kind of repetitive, chances are you're still not fully developing your ideas. And what we're more interested in than page length is fully developed arguments. So what I would also suggest is that you sit down and plan your paper before you start writing it so that you know what you're getting yourself into, what you want to accomplish in the paper, etc., etc. With a plan and with the understanding that the length requirement is not arbitrary, it's something necessary to help you get your idea across fully, that will help you, I think, as we move into the literature review. The second thing that I want to talk about is the overuse of I that I saw in the topic proposal. To be very clear here, your literature review should not use first person at all. No I, no we, no us, no my research shows, none of that. And it shouldn't use second person at all either. No, if you look at this research, you will see, or you need to understand, or you might think that this is true, but it isn't. None of that. Your writing doesn't need to be about yourself as the writer. It doesn't need to be about your reader. It needs to be about the argument that you're making. So no first and no second person pronouns in this literature review. Once we get to the research prospectus, I'm not going to outlaw first person completely, but I want you to know that it's really easy to overuse first person. I don't want to see a lot of I think, I feel, I believe, my research shows, I have seen, I have found out, I understand, I want to do this. It's overused, and it makes your writing weak. It makes it about you, the writer, instead of about your argument that you're trying to make. So instead of "I believe that domestic abuse needs to be addressed," you might just say "domestic abuse needs to be addressed." That way you've got a strong subject and a strong verb, and it's about the argument that you're making, and it's not about what you think. We know that these are going to be papers based on opinion and based on interest and based on you, but you don't have to make the paper about yourself in order to get that across. One place in the research prospectus where you might find yourself using first person a lot is going to be where you're describing what process you want to take to gather your primary research. I will administer a survey that asks my subjects blah, 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 blah. I want to include 200 people in this survey, something like that, right? You'll find yourself using I a lot there, and that's okay because you are actually describing your process. But if you find yourself dipping into "I feel," "I have found," "I believe," or "you need to understand," or "you might think," none of that is acceptable, right? So there's a way to use it and a way to overuse it or misuse it, right? So be really careful about the way that you're structuring your writing. All right, if you've got any questions about any of this, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm really excited to see what all of you guys can produce on your literature reviews.